Brace yourselves, America. This ain't your grandpa's recession. Alright, let's talk about the economy. I know, thrilling stuff. But listen up, because the next time the economy decides to take a nosedive, and it will, it always does, it's probably going to look a lot different. We're not just talking about your standard garden variety downturn here. This new beast is something else entirely. A complex monster with more heads than a hydra at a hat convention. Past recessions often had somewhat clear triggers. A housing bubble burst. Tech stocks went a bit too bonkers. But what we're staring down the barrel of now, here in mid-2025, is a cocktail of interconnected weirdness. Think of it like a Jenga tower, but instead of sturdy wooden blocks, some are made of sentient AI, others are perpetually stuck on a cargo ship, a few are drowning in debt, and one is literally on fire due to climate change. Pull one, and the whole thing might just spectacularly implode in a way we've never quite seen before. So why is this next potential recession shaping up to be the special edition nobody asked for? It's because we're juggling multiple massive game-changing factors all at once. These aren't just minor tremors, these are seismic shifts. This isn't about fear-mongering, this is about understanding the unique landscape we're navigating. So, buckle up. It's going to be an informative, slightly terrifying, but ultimately useful ride. Let's take a brief, not at all nostalgic stroll down recession memory lane. Remember the dot-com bubble bursting around the year 2000? Ah, those were the days. Everyone thought investing in a website that sold, say, artisanal pet socks was a one-way ticket to Billionaire Island. The trigger? A wild overvaluation of tech companies, many of which had no actual profits. When the bubble popped, it was messy. People lost their shirts, or in this case, their suspiciously high-priced domain names, but, broadly speaking, we knew why it happened. Too much hype, not enough substance. Then of course there was the big one, 2008, the Great Recession. It all came crashing down thanks to a housing market built on a foundation of dodgy subprime mortgages, bundled up and sold like gourmet sausages. Except these sausages were filled with financial dynamite. When homeowners started defaulting, the whole global financial system nearly went kaboom. Again, a terrible time. Millions lost their homes and jobs, but crucially, we could point to the culprits: risky lending, complex financial instruments nobody understood, and a severe lack of oversight. The point here isn't to downplay how awful these past recessions were. They caused immense hardship, and that's not something to be flippant about. First up on our list of things that make this recession special is the rise of artificial intelligence and automation. Now, robots taking our jobs is a classic sci-fi trope, usually involving a menacing red eye and a monotone voice. But this isn't about Terminators building Teslas. It's about sophisticated software and machines becoming capable of doing tasks that, until recently, required a human brain and hands. And it's happening faster than many of us realize. We're talking about AI that can write articles, create code, diagnose diseases, and even drive your truck. Which is great, unless you're an article writer, a coder, a doctor, or, well, a truck driver. Think about the sheer breadth of this. It's not just factory jobs on the assembly line anymore, though those are certainly still being automated. We're seeing AI make inroads into customer service, with chatbots becoming eerily good at sounding human. It's impacting logistics, data entry, financial analysis, and even creative fields. Some studies suggest that hundreds of millions of jobs globally could be disrupted or displaced by automation in the coming decade. This isn't just about a few people needing to find new careers, it's a fundamental shift in the labor market. If a significant chunk of jobs can be done more cheaply and efficiently by AI or robots, what does that do to wages for the remaining human workers? It's not just another industrial revolution, it's something far more pervasive. Remember 2020 and 2021, when suddenly you couldn't get toilet paper or a new laptop? That was our introduction to the fragility of global supply chains. These just-in-time systems are as delicate as a Fabergé egg in a mosh pit. The pandemic threw a massive spanner in the works, and things haven't entirely gone back to normal. These supply chains were optimized for efficiency, not resilience. One tiny part breaks like a ship stuck in a canal, and the effects are global. Add in geopolitical tensions and you've got ongoing unpredictability. This constant near disruption has real economic consequences. It means higher prices for you, the consumer. During a recession, supply chain problems can make things worse. Section 5, Reason 3, Debt, debt, and more debt. Our national hobby has consequences. Let's talk about something Americans are exceptionally good at. Accumulating debt. We are truly world-class. Government debt? Absolutely colossal. We're talking trillions with a T, a number so large it basically just sounds like a made-up word. For years, with interest rates near zero, this seemed manageable, like eating endless free breadsticks at Olive Garden. But interest rates have gone up. Suddenly, servicing that massive pile of government IOUs is getting a lot more expensive, crowding out spending on other important things like, roads that don't swallow your car. Then there's corporate debt. During the era of cheap money, companies also went on a borrowing binge. They loaded up their balance sheets to fund stock buybacks, mergers, or sometimes just to keep the lights on. Now, as the economy potentially slows and borrowing costs rise, some of these companies might find themselves in a tight spot. If their revenues fall, and they still have these huge debt payments to make, it can lead to bankruptcies, layoffs, and a general corporate belt-tightening that further drags down the economy. It's like a company-wide game of musical chairs, and the music is getting ominously slow. Section 6. Reason 4. Mother Nature's economic curveball, now with more fire and floods. Our fourth horseman of this unique economic apocalypse preview is climate change. Yes, the thing some people still try to argue about as if it's a matter of opinion, like whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It doesn't, by the way, but that's a different show. Climate change isn't just an environmental issue anymore. It's a profound and increasingly disruptive economic force. We're not talking about some distant future problem. We're talking about economic damage happening right now, today, in 2025, and it's getting worse. Think about the sheer cost of extreme weather events. Hurricanes are getting stronger and wetter, causing billions in damage to coastal cities and infrastructure. Wildfires are raging for longer, destroying homes, businesses, and vast swaths of valuable timberland, not to mention choking entire regions with smoke. Droughts are crippling agriculture, leading to crop failures and higher food prices. Floods are inundating communities that never thought they were at risk. Each of these events isn't just a tragedy, it's an economic body blow. Rebuilding is expensive, insurance costs are skyrocketing, or coverage is becoming unavailable altogether in some areas. These direct costs are bad enough, but the indirect economic consequences are also massive. Climate change disrupts supply chains. There's that pesky issue again. Section 7. The perfect storm, when all these nightmares decide to carpool. Now here's where it gets really spicy. Each of these four factors, AI and automation, fragile supply chains, monumental debt, and climate change, is a formidable challenge on its own. Any one of them could trigger or worsen an economic downturn. But the truly unsettling prospect is how these factors can interact, creating a perfect storm. They don't just add up, they can multiply each other's negative effects. AI-driven automation leads to significant job displacement. Those newly unemployed people, many of whom are already carrying high levels of personal debt, are forced to drastically cut spending. This reduced demand hits businesses struggling with supply chains and rising costs. Some of these businesses, burdened by corporate debt, might go under, leading to more job losses. It's a vicious cycle, a doom loop powered by our modern anxieties. And what about the government's ability to respond? With government debt at historic highs and borrowing costs rising, their fiscal firepower might be limited. Imagine funding disaster relief for intense climate events while managing a debt crisis and supporting a disrupted workforce. There's only so much money to go around, and the demands are piling up from every direction. Section 8. So what's a regular Joe or Jane to do? Your not-so-scary survival guide. Okay, that was a lot of doom and gloom. You might be feeling like you want to build a bunker and hoard canned beans. And while a well-stocked pantry is never a bad idea, let's talk about some practical, less apocalyptic steps you can take to prepare for this uniquely weird economic future. Because knowledge is power, and a little preparation can go a long way. The first thing is to focus on your skills. With AI and automation changing the job market, lifelong learning isn't just a buzzword, it's a survival strategy. Think about skills that are harder for robots to replicate. Critical thinking, creativity, complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, and skilled trades. Upskilling or reskilling could make you more resilient. Next, let's talk about your income. Relying on a single paycheck from one job is like putting all your eggs in one increasingly wobbly basket. Explore ways to diversify your income streams. This could be through the gig economy, freelancing, starting a small side business, or developing a passive income source. Even a small amount of extra income from a different source can provide a crucial buffer if your primary job is affected. It's about building multiple lines of defense for your financial well-being. Don't panic, but do prepare. Your future self is counting on you, so there you have it. America's next recession isn't likely to be a simple rerun. It's fueled by AI, fragile supply lines, mountains of debt, and economic disruptions from climate change. It's a lot to take in. It sounds like a disaster movie plot. But the goal isn't to panic. These challenges are significant but not insurmountable. Understanding them is the first step. Think about new solutions at a personal level. Upskilling, diversifying income, tackling debt, building savings, these are acts of empowerment. They build your resilience, give you more options, security, and peace of mind. Every small step is an investment in your future self.